Oh, okay. Thank you so much for being here for our I keep calling them COVID Q&As. I shouldn't do that, but virtual Q&A, and for sharing your film, Small Time, with the St. Louis International Film Festival. You're in St. Louis now virtually, but you really are where? Where are you coming to us from?
Um,
Okay. Awesome. And you are multi-talented. You did a lot on this film. You wrote the script and directed, and you're the cinematographer. How do you balance all of that?
it's tricky. Uh, it's rather interesting to do that. It started out as a short film,
Okay.
which ended up being part one, the earliest part of the film. And it was pretty much a no budget thing at that point. So I couldn't find the DP that I wanted to do it. And I figured, oh, I'll just do it myself. And it was with Audrey, this little girl actress. It was her very first role. And I realized that it was very useful to be also the camera as well as her director. And we could just kind of work it out as we went within the frame, kind of. And to have me right there, kind of speaking to her. And so when we expanded it into a feature, I figured that kind of was our relationship that happened, and I wanted to continue it to, continue to bring out the best in her, and this kind of intimate thing with the camera that she had got going in part one.
Awesome. Wonderful. So you was a short first. So you wrote the script. Had you written the feature script first and then just did the short, or how did that work with the script?
Yeah, it was just a short, and it was just going to be a short, and it was really enjoyable, and we kind of all, it was one of the simplest and nicest sets that I had been on, and we all were joking around during the short about, like, we need to see her grow up and, like, what's going to happen to this little girl. And so then I started expanding after the short was finished and got seen, and they came back. and,
Awesome.
and she grew up about, I guess, about 3 years
Oh.
during like in between the different parts. So it was a little bit of a boyhood girlhood situation, but very reduced,
Wonderful. Where did you find her? How did you find?
Just an online casting call, and it was her very, very first experience in acting, actually,
Wow.
the short. Yeah.
She's remarkable. You did wonderful with her. She's great.
Yeah, thanks, for
And
sure.
another one of your actresses is from St. Louis, Dominique Johnson. How did you connect with her?
Also, just an online call, maybe backstage or something like that. And she came in and read for us and was just blew it out of the water. And so, yeah, and she's from Missouri.
She is. Her parents may be watching this right now. She plays the mom, Jessie, in the film
Yeah,
right now.
yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Well, talk a little bit about your aesthetic feel for it. I mean, it definitely has a place, tell me more about that.
I guess hmm.
As far as being remote, isolated, the characters.
Yeah, it's like there was kind of a feel of, I didn't want it to be overly aesthetic.
Hmm.
Uh, I wanted it just to feel kind of gritty and dirty as it is, but I did want to insert a sense of like fairy tale-ness,
Hmm.
a little bit of a childhood tale, fairy tale style. So I guess it comes out of merging those two things, this kind of dark, gritty, not overly beautiful aspect with kind of a little bit of a magical fairy tale quality in the lighting and sort of just how the light plays with them. I tried to
Yes,
bring that out of it. Yeah.
definitely. I can see that. As far as like the original story, where did that come from for you? Where did it start?
Well, the original short was it's semi autobiographical, but very loosely. You know, it was taken from a memory I had being quite young, and then I changed it quite a bit to make it more dramatic and more, uh, you know, story-like. Uh, and so then the expansion of it was also, it became more of a story of this girl, but I tried to anchor each part was kind of anchored in a very concrete memory I had of growing up. And it was kind of expanded around that memory.
Mm.
So in that way, it allowed me to like bring it back to feeling very real. And oddly, usually the memory scenes are the most wacky ones. Like they're the least believable, like in reality ones.
Okay. I mean, there's definitely a sustained tension. Like you're very nervous through the whole film that something bad is going to happen to her for sure.
Yeah.
So kudos that was where you were going. And I was very worried about, but I know it's a safe set. It was a safe set. She was safe at all times. But
Absolutely. And
awesome.
so do the animals.
Oh yeah. Okay, good. Yes.
The animals all safe, all had a good time. But yeah, the goal was, without getting too overtly violent or dark, but to insert the possibility of some really hardcore danger and darkness kind of throughout, which uh, kind of addresses, I think, just growing up a young girl, you know, is kind of this dangerous, trepidatious thing. And there's so much prey, you know, that's not correct English, but you understand what I mean. And so many dangers just all around coming from places that may or may not happen, you know, but just the fact that there is that danger and that kind of weirdness all around is sort of also what the film is about.
Awesome. And we won't give away the ending, but I was happy that the way that you ended things was a nice note, I think. Speaking of notes, your music is haunting throughout. How did you put that music together? And you worked with a composer?
Yeah, the composer is our producer.
Oh.
And he just, you know, we worked together pretty closely, but also then he sort of meandered off into these other places, which was really interesting. I mean, it was a long process because we first did the short, then part 2 was done and sort of edited, and music started being thought of for that. And then once part 3 was done, then we put that together and new style music came into play. But we were trying to go for something also that didn't play into the obvious qualities of the film or the obvious emotions of the film, and playing against that a little bit with more of a synth electro, kind of minimalist electro vibe that would not be supporting in an obvious way the emotions, which is kind of my approach to music within a film. I wanted to either work against a little bit so that there's that tension, which is, you know, all part of the tension building. I think is just like things working against each other in a strong way.
Off balance, put you off a little balance. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of discord, creating a discord. So you're never fully comfortable in what you're watching or what you're hearing or understanding it even, right? You're always just kind of negotiating it. And if you're laughing, it's slightly uncomfortable laughter. It's the goal.
Yes.
And the music is kind of like that too, just sort of supporting it in an overt, non-overt way.
Gotcha. Have you been able to see it with an audience yet? I know it's hard timing wise, but
we did. We premiered at CineQuest, and they cut short their festival mid-COVID, and so we saw 2 screenings with an audience, which was really nice and interesting to just see it meet a public. Of course, it's very different feeling, but it was quite well received, and it was really nice to see how people responded, both in a horrified and a humoristic way at the right moments. So
awesome. Yes. Cool. Well, for audience members to follow the film, are there places they can go to see where it might be showing in other places?
Yes, we have a site. It's let's see. It's smalltimefilm.com.
Okay, great.
And so I update that with where we're going next, festival-wise, and whatever happens.
Cool. And you're going to join us. We're going to do your film as part of this new filmmakers forum of first-time directors, and we're going to do a panel that the audience can join us on November 21st. It's going to be a live streamed panel with all the directors of the 5 films in competition, and we'll talk more nuts and bolts, kind of budget ranges and days of shooting and lessons learned and all those details at that time. So thank you for joining us right now, and for joining us again on the 21st. Thank you so very much, and for sharing this wonderful
Thanks for having me, and for showing this film to your public, and getting it out there, and being such an interested viewer. Awesome. I really appreciate it.
Oh, well, we'll see you on the 21st. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.